Awesome, guys. Thanks for coming or being here with us. This is a Walk Through the Mud podcast. I'm here with Hill Harper. And you want to just introduce yourself, tell us where you're from and what you do?
Well, I'll just tell you where we are. We're in my cafe called Asa here on Mercer Island, Washington. This is the second cafe that I own. I own another cafe in Detroit called Roasting Plant in Detroit, and very proud. Owning small businesses these days is not an easy thing, but it's great to have people coming. I believe coffee's community. I believe cocktails are community. We have people in here coming in to get coffee in the morning, cocktails in the evening. Brings people together. Yeah,
dope. Yeah. So what gets you started in owning cafes? Like, what was the...
my career as a professional actor, I've always loved this idea of giving people an experience. I believe when you're acting properly and you're doing a project, it takes you away, right? If you're watching it, the audience gets taken away. They have an experience. Same thing, I believe the same thing about hospitality. If you do hospitality correctly, they have an experience. They come into a beautiful space. Hopefully they hear beautiful music. We don't have the music on right now because we're doing this interview, but hopefully hearing nice music when they're here. What they smell, what they taste, all of these experiences improve the quality and fabric of your life. I believe it's the same thing about acting and a movie or a TV show.
Yeah.
You watch it or you hear beautiful music or you see beautiful art, takes you away and you have an experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I guess that's what resonates to me about the hospitality industry. It's very similar to acting.
Yeah. So playing off of that, what got you started in acting? What was the inspiration behind that?
When I went to college, I went to Brown University undergrad. I took a class my first semester freshman year called Voice 21 Shakespeare, Voice for the Actor, taught by Professor Barbara Tannenbaum. I'll never forget it. And I was in that class and I just loved it. And I had no family that was in the entertainment business. I didn't know how you build a business, how you build a career in the entertainment business. I had no idea, but I knew I loved acting and I just kept doing it, kept exploring it. At the time, when I was in college, I didn't know it was going to be my career, but it just kept evolving for me. And so, that's what happened.
Was there a desire from childhood, or was it just, I just kind of jumped into it? Or
when I was young, I did a commercial for a coffee shop or a cafe with ice cream. If you got good grades, you got to go in. And I think I enjoyed that, but I wasn't thinking along those lines, because I was thinking, you go to school to explore and to learn. And that's what I did. That's why going to Brown University was a blessing. It was a blessing because I got to experience and explore many different things, and acting was one of them. And then, I went to grad school right after. I went to Harvard Law School, and I did a joint degree at Harvard Law School and the Kennedy School of Government. And those two professional experiences, professional degrees, helped just sort of shape the way I looked at the world. And I was doing theater during that time as well. By the time I finished grad school, I knew I wanted to be a professional actor.
Yeah. And so you've had a great career, and now you have some ties into like political things, like you're getting into...
When I went to grad school, I went to the John F. Kennedy School of Government. So I got my master's in public administration. I've always considered myself an activist, always considered this idea that, when I became an actor, I wanted to be like Harry Belafonte or Sidney Poitier, artists who were activists. I did a movie with Spike Lee called Get on the Bus, where Ossie Davis and I sat next to each other, may he rest in peace. And he talked to me about when Malcolm X would come over to him in Ruby Dee's house and Dr. King. And he basically said, if you're an artist, you have to be an activist if you're a real artist. If you're just trying to be famous, that's different. But if you are a true artist, then true artists want to do things that are legacy building and make the world a better place. Because that's what art is, right? Art is supposed to live longer than us. right? It's not. That's why they call. There's certain things. There's like real art
Yeah.
that lives on, and then there's something I can pick up and draw. That's not just because I can draw. It doesn't make it true art. True art has soul in it.
Yeah.
It has spirit. It has history. That's why music. People say, "Oh, today the movies aren't any good. They're not real art." You're right. A lot of these movies, you're going to want to watch 20, 30 years from now? No.
Yeah.
But even the music.
Yeah.
There was a time in different periods of time where different artists were making music that we listen to today,
Yeah.
right? My son loves Eminem, but he's not listening to all the other rappers that were back doing that at the exact same time.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If Prince's "When Doves Cry" come on, or if "Purple Rain" comes on, or a Michael Jackson song comes on, you're like, whoa. If Mozart is played, you're like, whoa. But you're not listening to all the other composers that were around in Mozart's day.
You're right.
So there are people who are creating great art in windows of time. And I wanted to be an artist, but part of that meant also being an activist. And then as we've seen the world evolve, how do you help people? I believe you're either helping them through the court system, you're helping them through the political system, or you're helping them through art or financial.
Yeah.
Those are the four pillars, right? You either help them with their finances and access to capital, art, politics, or judicial.
Okay.
And in my mind, I wanted to lean in all those areas.
Sure. So I definitely can feel this desire that you have to help and to give back. Is that something that's natural for you, or did that stem from somewhere? Like, what's the desire that you have? Like,
So that comes straight from my grandparents.
Yeah.
So my name, Hill Harper, my grandfather on my mother's side was Dr. Harold Hill. He had a small pharmacy in Seneca, South Carolina, which is a small town, South Carolina, close to Clemson University. And it was called Piedmont Pharmacy. Mm-hmm. And he would serve, it had a counter like this. He'd serve lemon lime Rickeys and whatnot, but he was also, people would bring in chickens and potatoes and he would give them prescription medicine. He served the black community during Jim Crow segregation in the South.
Yeah.
So that's Doc Hill, where I get my first name from.
Yeah.
Dr. Harper was in Iowa, another small town. That was my dad's dad. And he was a doctor who was, at that time they called it a family doctor, but it was basically an OBGYN. You know, he was birthing black babies from all around. And those two men, their whole lives were built around service. Their whole lives were built around career, service, and sowing seeds in the community, but also making a living doing that.
Yeah.
And so I think that planted a seed in my mind. It's like, oh, you could make a living, but also be helping. Those two things aren't incongruous, right?
Yeah.
They can go together. And I think that's the approach.
Yeah.
And that kind of seeded into me.
So you feel like that was just that huge influence from your grandparents that helped you?
No doubt.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Seeing them and what they did and what they built, I feel like I haven't lived up to them, really. You know, I have to do more. They did so much more than I've done. And so with every book I've written, with everything, it's what can you do? Because there's a lot of suffering, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, there's so much suffering in this world. There's so many people that are hurting. And I've felt like I've been so blessed. You know, I know people in the world who, this metaphorically, the car always kind of hits them, or the car always breaks down. They always get the flat tire.
Yeah.
They're always late for the meeting. It's just like, it's like Linus and Peanuts. The cloud seems to follow them all the time.
Yeah.
I've had a completely different experience. And I recognize that God has blessed me. The car doesn't hit me. It just misses me all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I've been pulled over just like everybody else, but somehow that interaction didn't go south and I didn't end up in, you know, with my arms behind. You know, I've been in so many situations with officers that could have gone a different way, would have changed the course of my life. I remember in Alabama one time I got pulled over. The guy wanted me to get in his car. I was like, why do you want me to get?
Well, he just asked you to get.
Yeah, he said, why don't you just get in my car? I said, why do you want me to just get in your car?
Yeah.
says, well, I don't want you sitting in your car. You know, and I don't want to go through the whole story because it'll take a long time, but that interaction could have gone a completely different way. And I think he wanted it to go a different way.
Yeah.
But I kept my head. I was able to have meaningful conversation with him, make him understand that I wasn't the one he should be messing with.
Yeah.
But at the same time, had to think how to get out of it. And that's what I worry about for my son, for instance. My son flies off all the time, and trying to get him to learn how to slow things down, be measured, because every interaction is a new opportunity to either make sure you stay on track or improve the quality of your life, or send it in a different direction, particularly as a Black man in America.
Yeah. So do you think it's harder or easier now to impact? Because you talked about how your grandparents are really impactful for you. Do you think it's harder now or easier in that sense?
I think it's harder. I think it's harder.
Yeah, me too.
There's so many influences now.
Just information coming in all the time.
Yeah, and a lot of it, people don't know what to trust.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They're just getting bombarded right now. And, you know, I was just actually listening to something this morning on NPR, and the doctors were saying that folks have come in talking about, obviously we know about the controversy around vaccines, birth control, any number of things that people have gotten information off the internet that they buy into it. And so the same holds true with life choices and motivation and also comparison. I think that where we're at now, one of the most difficult things for anybody to do is you see these images of other people's lives and you compare your life somehow to theirs, and you're like, oh, I want that. In fact, I was watching, you know, Vic Mensa? Vic Mensa, I watched this thing on last night where he was like, man, I usually feel like I got my stuff together, but I happened to be scrolling and I saw my buddy, and I can't remember who it was, and he had like this Lamborghini that was beautiful. And he said, all of a sudden I was taking out my own mode, thinking about, wow, I have a Lamborghini.
And that Vic is successful.
And Vic is very successful. Exactly. So the point is that the more we're bombarded with these images, and most of them are fake images, meaning not fake in the sense, let's call them manipulated for a given outcome. Because what you don't ever see, even if someone's stepping out of the limo, you never see all the work it took for them to get to the limo. It's not as sexy when you see everything they had to go through to get there. You know, and that's the thing. It's like the journey is not shown, just the so-called result. And usually that result has been photoshopped, flipped up, and exaggerated. And I think that young people today are falling victim and are of that bombardment of inadequacy.
Absolutely. And so, you know, with the podcast, it's called A Walk Through the Mud. It's basically the journey through, you know, faith and forgiveness. And so we just talked about journey, like help us to understand what that was like for you. Like, what is, like, with all the things going on, with the influence from your grandparents and the things that you're trying to impart to your son, what does that journey look like for you, and how does that intersect with your faith?
The foundational element for me, and I have to try to consciously remind myself to sort of train my subconscious to be reminded, is love. We talk about so many things in this world, all over, about this, goals, wealth, that, education, that, health, but it has to be rooted in love. And I have to understand that every single person in this world is valuable and are deserving of love, because God is that ubiquitous love, because God lives in you. And if I love God, I love you, because you are a reflection of God.
Yeah.
And that holds myself. I got to love myself because I am a reflection of God. And so once we start getting away and trying to pick winners and losers and trying to decide, well, this person or this entity deserves love, but this one doesn't, This one deserves grace, but this one doesn't. This one deserves compassion, but this one doesn't. This one deserves education, but this one doesn't. This one deserves a house with running water and clean water, but this one doesn't. That's where it's a problem. And that's what frustrates me. And that's where I look in the mirror myself and say, where have I failed? Because on my watch, I've allowed injustice to happen. And that's why I was doing work in Flint, trying to help the residents of Flint, who all these years later still haven't been compensated.
Yeah.
Trying to help people all over the world that are suffering in hunger, violence, you name it. And it goes back to love.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that when it's all said and done, we're only here for such a small window of time.
Yeah.
That none of it matters. And that's why even this business, I want people to feel loved by the way they sit down and like, dang, this is nice. I like this. It's like I try to think about everything like, oh, the coasters or records or the detail, these chairs. All the advisors said, don't buy these bar stools. They're too expensive.
Yeah.
No, if you're gonna sit at the bar, you deserve to sit in a nice, comfortable bar stool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? The light should be right. It should be real art on the walls, not some fake Z gallery. No offense, Z gallery art, right? That's not what this is. This should be an elevated experience because I want you to love your experience. So I have to love on you for that. So it's just an example. And then hopefully from a business standpoint, people somehow recognize it and feel it. And then they come
Take on that.
and the business is successful.
Yeah. It's amazing so I've been doing this podcast for a little bit, and it's amazing seeing people's journeys, so you'll see some people that have been through these hardships and hard things in life, and out of that comes this beautiful story of redemption and forgiveness and faith and all these things. And what I'm getting from you is you've just been on this path to serve, and to give back and to love, like you just.
That's the idea. But I tend not to harp on the hardships, because I feel like it's almost like, I don't know, there's a chip in me that kind of forgets, and that's a good thing because it wipes out. I tend not to carry that stuff with me.
Yeah.
But in 2010, I was diagnosed with cancer.
Oh.
My father died of cancer. My grandfather died of cancer. My uncle died of cancer. So cancer runs in the male side of my family. I had a complete thyroidectomy. And, obviously the hope is, knock on wood, I'm cancer free. Now, if some of those rogue cells got out and are setting up shop like they did in my dad, he had thyroid cancer just like I did. Mm-hmm. But they also set up shop in his pancreas. So he ended up dying of pancreatic cancer, which is extremely difficult to detect. So I don't know if there's some cells in my pancreas right now just saying, we're going to multiply. Could be. Same thing with the election. When I ran for office, I didn't win. I worked as hard as I could, but I didn't win. It's not easy to get people that have been disenfranchised to vote.
Yeah.
It's not easy to get them to believe, It's not easy to get them to buy into, oh, this time is different. Yeah. I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna have hope again, or I'm gonna do it. But I tried. So, and it was tough because I worked so hard. There's plenty of experiences that we go through that are difficult. I tend not to highlight them because I don't see how that serves me. It doesn't. Even the good stuff, I'm not, I don't put awards up on the shelves and all of that.
Yeah.
It's a blessing to receive these awards and all of that, but we're on to, other people are suffering right now in real time. What are we doing to make a difference?
Yeah.
And how can we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of people don't have that. And so if you could sum that up into something like a message that we could tell our viewers, like, hey, ultimately this is what this looks like for me. What would that be? What would that look like?
I'll tell you, there's a quote that I go to all the time. that's about the future. And I say this to myself, say it to my son. My son, we do affirmations as well. We don't do this one very often, but this is something I say to myself all the time. It's a Bobby Kennedy quote. And it sort of sums up my ethos, I think, because that's why it resonated with me so much. The future does not belong to those who are fearful of bold projects and new ideas, but rather the future belongs to those who can blend passion, reason, and courage into a personal commitment to the great ideals and enterprises of American society. So those three words, passion is energy to me. I want to live passionately. I want to do everything with passion and energy because that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Reason means having a plan or thought process or a plan. And then courage is living through your heart and being courageous. I love the word courage. It's my favorite word in the English language because the etymology or the root of that word, many people think it's like the antithesis to fear. I disagree. You're going to have fear and you're always going to have fear. The question is acknowledging it and then how do you push through it and actually do it anyway. That's what courage is.
That's the thing.
And core, the first, 4 letters, is a French word that means heart. So what courage really is showing up with your heart more so than I am fearless. No, I'm scared all the time. All the time. The question is, do I let the fear take me off a path?
Yeah.
And too many of us do. And that's the sad thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I get frustrated when we see injustice happening on our watch. Because most people are willing and want to stop injustice. I believe fundamentally most people, the vast majority, are good. It's just like a bell curve. There's some people that are just like saints, so good that they're incredible, the Mother Teresa's of the world.
Yeah.
And then there's a big group of really just solid, good people. And then there's some really bad people.
Yeah.
That are just depraved. And just as good as Mother Teresa is, they're just as bad and evil, right? But the most people fit in this bell curve of goodness, but they're scared. And they get scared to speak out. They get scared to go against the grain or to say something that they think the group wouldn't agree with.
Yeah.
And that's how we allow injustice to happen on our watch. And that's what I try to do my best to not allow that.
Yeah. Well, Hill, I appreciate you, man. This has been dope. It's a great conversation. Thanks for allowing us to be here. And thanks for just sharing your heart, man, and really just being authentic. That's the whole point of this podcast.
No,
is just
great.
to be authentic and be real. So.
And my man, Toby Ngwekwe, he talks about coming out the mud all the time. He's out of Houston.
Yeah.
He's a rapper, buddy of mine. And the metaphor to me of mud is fantastic because mud is sticky.
Yeah.
And mud stays with you. And sometimes you could have mud all over, but then you put a suit on top and you don't know, but that mud is still in there.
Yeah, it's still on.
And coming out of it, really authentically coming out of it, it's not easy. And many of us, my father was a psychiatrist and he used to talk to me all the time about, particularly we as black men, we need to do work on ourselves to come out the mud.
Yeah.
But there's historically been stigma attached to getting help. And we end up talking to our boys and our boys, oftentimes just become, affirmative, like, hey man, I got you. Yeah, it's all right. Even though we know they're doing wrong. It's like, what? When's the last time you saw your child? Or when's the last time you did this? Or how did you speak to her?
Yeah.
Listen, and so we have to be willing to even check each other, to help each other out of the mud.
Yeah.
I want people to come up to me and be like, Hill, why did you do that? And because I believe in your heart. And I think you could do better. Because everybody gets messy and muddy.
Yeah.
There's nobody. I've done things recently that I think I could have done a better job at. What is that about? I want to improve and continue to iterate. And we have to give each other patience and grace to get out the mud.
Grace is a big deal. Well, that's why I called the podcast to walk through the mud, because it's not like we sit in it. We're not stuck in it. You know,
No.
you can walk through it. So, and it's been great. It's been an amazing journey, even getting to this point and being able to do this. So, hey, I appreciate it, man.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. But if you want to just talk about Asa Gathering
Yeah.
and where it's at, and just look into this camera here, and
We're here. Place is called Asa, A-S-A. It's named after Asa Mercer. We're on Mercer Island, and this island was named after Asa Mercer. But I also like the name because it's a nod to the Yoruba word Ashe, which means greetings and blessings and the God within you. And so we want to let people come and gather, let them celebrate, have fun, have libations in the evening, coffee during the day, and it's just, I couldn't be more proud of the space. I'd like to open up more in the Seattle area. So this would be the first location of hopefully more, and we're looking to grow and expand.
absolutely. Spot's dope, y'all. Come check out Asa Gathering. Thanks. Bro, I appreciate you.
No,
Thank you.
thank you.